You can see the YouTube symbol, I think. Yeah. Nice. Okay, please go ahead, Ramya. Thanks to all. Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. So today we will be starting our class with the topic business rules. So our plan is to complete business rules fundamentals today. Okay. So we can proceed, right? Like, are we waiting for someone or we can start?
2 minutes, Ramya. I
Okay,
think
not a
Naresh.
problem. Yeah, not a problem. Let me know once he is in. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Sonia. Hi.
Ramya, you can go ahead, Ramya. I think he will join in next 5 minutes.
Now, if you want me to wait, not a problem. We'll wait for him.
No, actually, just I connected with him and he mentioned go ahead.
Okay,
We can
so the,
continue.
yeah, okay, then. So business rules are our next topic is, and which is very important topic and which is a main foundation to run the system with the business rule. So a business rule is a configuration that allows success factors to automatically perform an action when a defined condition is met. So when I say, if I have to say it in a simple terms, we are telling a system, if something happens, check for some kind of condition, then perform an action. Okay. So what, for example, we have seen in job information employee class. When I say an employee class, it can be intern, it can be a permanent employee, it can be a temporary employee, it can be a contract employee, anything. Like, we have employee class. Okay. uh, so when we have mm, employee class options, so based on that, employment type should be automatically default. When I say default, let's consider, if employee class is an intern, I mean, if we select employee class as an intern, in the employment type, though we have a multiple options, like even it is a contract employee, permanent employee, to such kind of options, it should only default contract. So when we select an employee class as an intern, it should automatically default contract. So this is a simple example which I'm giving you just to explain the term what is a business rule. So it is like combination of if and if condition, check the condition, if it is validated, perform the then condition, which is an action. Okay. So why do we need why do we need these business rules in our system? Okay. So obviously, suppose if a HR hires some 500 employees, should HR manually enter all the employment types every time? Like if she is hiring an employee, every time she has to manually give a employees this thing. So it is a very big task. So obviously what she does is like she for all the employees who belongs to intern, she'll just give a in employee class she will choose an intern. So automatically for all the employees whomever she is hiring, the employment type becomes contract. Making sense?
Yes, Ramya.
Yeah. So benefits of business rules. The first one is automation, which I say when I say automation, based on some value, something should automatically approve. Let's consider the position number. We give a sequence. So whenever we hire an employee, the sequence should automatically appear. Every time we have to not log in into the system, and all the time we should go back what was the previous number we hired and what is the next number. We directly create a position in system, automatically defaults a number based on the sequence set. Data validation. So if salutation is Mr. and in the gender it should be male. If salutation is Miss, in the gender it
Yeah.
should be female. That is a validation, data validation. If you give in a salutation Mr. and in the gender if you give it as a female, so we can write a business rule whenever the salutation is Mr. The gender should not be female or gender should be female. Okay, that is a validation. Okay. uh, if you There are a lot of examples for the validation. Defaulting the values, like as I told you, if it is an intern you should default a contract type. If it is what for example, defaulting, we have lot of examples. uh, if employee has chosen his marital status of marriage, marital status as if a female employee is Miss, and when she changed her marital status, her salutation should be Mrs. So such kind of defaulting values. Okay. uh, making fields mandatory, like we already talked about. If employee is marital status has been changed to married, so once employee login and changed her marital or his marital status, marital since has to become a mandatory field. Till there it was a empty field, it should become a mandatory field. uh, so such kind of things we are the benefits for using business rule. Okay. So the basic structure of business rule is to always we have a base object. When I say base object, if you have to write a rule based on the personal information, whatever the fields we have spoke, marital status, gender, that is a base object. So the base object is personal information. If you have to write a business rule based on what we say compensation structure, like if employee belongs to this grade, these pay component should be auto defaulted, the base object should be compensation information. If an employee belongs to such grade, the salary should not be more than 20,000, that's a compensation information. If an employee if you want to write a based on job information, like which we spoke, employment info, job info, those fields come from a job information. So base object is a job information. We can also write business rule based on the generic objects, like such as position. If you want to create a sequence for the position number, then the base object is a position. So whatever the field, whatever the you are choosing, the structure is like whatever the rule you want. When you get a requirement, it always depends on the base object. Like this is the most important concept. Like base object tells success factors where the rule is operating, where you want to operate this rule, on what data you want to operate this rule. if you want to create a what rule on the job information, or you want to create it on the compensation information, or you want to create it on the MDF object information, whatever it is, so that will be our base object. Okay. So, and most of the time, the uh, business rule runs on if condition and then condition. What is if condition? The if portion tells us system when the rule should be executed. Okay. If condition is when employee belongs to this. If employee belongs to this. If employee has this. So the if condition always tells the system when the rule should be executed, execute its logic. Okay. If employee class is intern, if employee department is IT, if employee location is Hyderabad, if employee salary is greater than 10,000, less than 10,000, not equal to 10,000, equal to 10,000, then condition. Then the then condition actually tells success factors what should happen if the condition is true. If employee belongs to intern, then employment type should be contract. Okay. So this is the difference between if and then conditions. Okay. So let's get into the system and see few scenarios where we will be having few rules. Okay, just a moment, guys.
Ramya, are you sharing your screen?
No,
Actually, it's
not
not.
yet. I'm share. I'll share it. I'm just. I just gave you a basics. Someone logged into system.
No, Ramya, I think. Which ID you are using? I think one.
Hmm.
No one is logged. You can try again.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Your screen is visible, Ramya.
It's visible.
Yep. Yeah. So rule scenarios on the employee central goal, I've just made in notes. So where these rules will be mostly triggered, this is for just your future reference. Okay. Now, however, we will go into the system and we will be seeing all the rules existing in the system, few scenarios which are existing in the system. Apart from that, like given all the standard models of the rules, you are able to see the notes, right? Like overview, rule events in Employee Central, like what is the rule event we will be having in the system? What are the rule events we will be sharing? Okay, event types. I mean, what kind of event types will be supported for the all the rules which we will be seeing in our system? I've made each and every, and I've given some common problems we face using. I mean, these are like a standard kind of issues where we have to we will be facing such kind of issues, and also how to counter. I mean, how to troubleshoot those issues. I have mentioned like what kind of rules we should be taken, what cannot be done during such kind of issues I've drafted. Okay, so yeah, these are like troubleshooting, how to troubleshoot the rule, like if a rule is not working, and like some examples like how to create a new rule, new business rule. Okay, setting the properties. So one where I have given all one example for on in it, if it is a for job info, for comp info. Okay, so such kind of examples has been given, like if it is a personal information model, how it works. For each data model I've given a example, job information model. Okay, phone information model. For each and every rule I've given you some examples. Okay, phone information for format, how to set a format, like for most of the examples I've added, like I've added a screenshot for your future reference. Okay, on the compensation information, everything.
Okay, Ramya.
For each and every model there is one example. If you see compensation model. Okay, I think most of the thing is covered. Okay, let's get into the system. Okay, notes is clear, right? You guys are able to follow the notes, right?
Yes, Ramya.
Mm, yep. Let's get into the system. So first we will see the navigations for the business rule. I mean, in order to create a okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this is our home page as usual. For the navigations from the admin search, we will be going to manage business. Sorry, manage business rules. Configure business rules. Configure business rules. So the navigation is configure business rules. From the home page, admin center, configure business rules. So once you go into the home, once you search for it, you will be able to see these are all the existing rules. So if you see, this is the rule name, rule ID, scenario, on what scenario you are writing, rule type, base object, and last modified by and to whom it is. These are all the existing rules. Let's open one of the example. So when there is a green mark here, this rule is assigned. So most of the rules, you will know where it is assigned. Let's open for an example this business rule. Okay. So if you see the description of the rule, this is a rule 1917 for 1710 production cost center update. If you see, position department is equals to this, set cost center to be equals to this. Okay. So what this rule has done. Okay. Let's create a position. So to create a position, manage data, we will create a position just to show you how that rule is working. Okay, position. Okay, the yeah. First, let's see how the rule is, how they have done. Like click on take action, make correction. So if you see, the rule start date, like as I told you, for all the data which we load into the system, most of the for the foundation data or some kind of workflows or the business rule, in most of the systems you will see 0101 1900, in order to avoid, like if you hire any employee after dated, so the business rule should work. So when you give the start date, this rule will be working from 1900. If you give a business rule date to tomorrow, I mean today, let's consider you have created a business rule and you have given today's date, and you want to hire an employee for August 1st. So rule will not work. So in order to avoid such kind of confusions, we will always prefer to give start date as 0101 1900. And the description is update cost center for the department production to product management US code. Okay. So the context is they have taken they have taken the object as position. Once they have the take the object as position, this. Okay. So in order to create a business rule, this is how they will. So let's go back to business rule admin, leave. Let's create a new business rule. So in order to create, this is how the page looks like. So if I have to tell you, if you want to search a particular rule based on the name or rule, you can search that rule here and you can look. And from where, as of date, or if rule is created for a future date, as of date, if you give, it will show all the rules for as of date. The scenario, based on the scenario, if you want to get a rule for the personal information, for the exception, what kind of rule you want to get, basic. So if you see, there is a basic rules, MDF rules, like what kind of scenario you want to see, you will be seeing based on your filter. Okay, perfect. So if you want to search a rule based on who did a last modification, you can see whoever have worked on the system have their last modified date. Rule type, is it a benefit rule, department rule, hire rule, such kind of, and based on the object also you can search. Okay. Now let's consider we want to create a new rule. So always when you want to create a new rule, create a new rule. Click on this plus icon. Okay. So when you click on this plus icon, based on the scenario, what kind of scenario? So in the success factors, we have advanced. This is a separate module, advanced, based on benefits, based on the calibration. This is a separate model. Calibration is a separate module. Succession and calibration, this is a separate module. If you want to write for the calibration module, this is compensation is a separate module, and variable pay is a separate module. So if you want to write for a compensation module, so contingent workforce is a separate thing where we will be writing. So ours right now we are working on employee central. If you want to write any rule on the employee central, we can write on the employee central. Okay, just hold on for a minute. Yeah. Okay, this is our employee central model. So we will be covering all this for each term, what will be happening. Okay. So this is document generation. Document generation is for onboarding. So this is a separate if you want to write some kind of rules on that. So foundation objects, like we have a lot of foundation objects which we have learned, like legal entity, division, department, cost center. So based on that, we will be writing our rules. So intelligence services is a separate module. Yeah, metadata framework is like if you want to write some kind of rules on the objects, generic objects which we create, that is some we will be writing the rules there. Onboarding, these are, if you see onboarding, performance management, these are separate modules we will be writing there. Position management again comes on EC. If you want to write some kind of rules on the position, we will be updating there. Recruiting, reward and recognition, time management, any kind of time off rules we'll be writing here. Okay. So now let's go to our employee central. So when we click on the employee central drop down, generate an assignment ID external. You can use this scenario to create a rule that generate the value of assignment ID external code based on the MDF sequence. Create a rule only based on this scenario. For more information, refer to assignment ID in Employee Central Core Guide. Okay, what does this? Use it to create you this what does it do? Like use it to automatically generate an assignment ID external, typically using a MDF sequence. Like you want to create an assignment ID which is 1001, 1002, that you want to create such kind of IDs for an employees. So to generate this kind of IDs, the sequence will be used. So when I say sequence, if you see here position, you have the sequence, right? So yeah, you want to create the sequence, like you want to have this sequence, like the next should be 23000024. So to creating such kind of sequence, we will be using this scenario. Okay, so when you click on that kind of scenario, if you see, you can create a sequence. For example, create a sequence, anything, ec underscore sequence underscore assignment ID. Okay, we are creating a sequence. So once you give rule name, the ID will be automatically created. If you want, you can give the description. This is an optional. So if you see, these three are mandatory fields. Description is an optional field. If you want to give some kind of description, you can give some kind of description. And when you click on continue, see, you will be able to see whatever the details you have given. So when you want to create an ID, so the base object is automatically chosen. So if you see the assignment ID, whatever the fields we need for creating assignment ID, you will be seeing all those values. So here this is how, if assignment ID value is equals to 1001, if we have some kind in the system, okay, any kind of system, then set some kind of, then we will be setting some conditions. Making sense? So this scenario is purely, hello?
Yes, Ramya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this scenario is purely to create an assignment ID. To create some kind of text for assignment ID, we will be using this. Okay. Yeah. Then comes our next value, generate employment ID for hire or rehire. Okay. When I say just yeah. So this is generally used to generate employee ID or user ID during a hire or rehire using MDF sequence. Okay, so like manual, instead of manually entering, which we have written, like we'll see that sequence. I'll show you sequence. So if you see here in the sequence, position external code. So right now in our system, the position external code start date is from this, and the current which is running is this one. The sequence is 634. So in order to create any kind of sequence, we will. So I'll show you some sequence rules. Okay. So for the position, if you want to see, it will be assigned on the position object. Let's go object definition, position. Mm. So this is how we create a sequence. Usually we set the start date, and if you want to see current state of that external code, this is where you will be seeing the sequence. So that is for a position, this is for external code, this is for department code, like if you want to create some kind of department. So we have 5000149, right? So this is how the sequence is created based on the created sequence. Okay. Mm. Just checking if some rule is assigned or not, just to see. Mhm. I'm just checking for a position code so that if the rule is assigned, we can see that. Yeah. So we don't have any. Let's write try to so generate a code for a position. EC underscore generate position code. Okay. So this is created. So if let's consider if employee belongs to some kind of legal entity. Okay. So if company of an if employee's company values belong to Argentina, then set position ID user ID to be equals to some kind of number 1001, some kind of stuff. Okay. Or else if employee job information company is equals to Western. Okay. Then set employee ID user ID to be equals to this. We want to go from here. Okay. So whatever the ID you want, if whatever job information position code. So any of this code you can select. However you want, you can just select. You will be having all those options here. Okay. So this is just to create, only to create employee ID or an assignment ID. I mean user ID to the employee. So when I say user ID, where you will be seeing it. So our employee is seeing, right? Nanya Singh. So we are talking about this ID. Okay, in order to create this ID system, to create the ID, we are talking. Okay, then comes our next one, rule to hire or rehire process. Okay, so use it to create specifically for hire or rehire process. When I say hire or rehire process, first is hire. When you are going to hire an employee, so validate the employee's like whatever it is, when you are going to hire an employee, just to validate on the hire page, we will be using this rule, or else no, just hold on for a second, guys. Sorry, someone was at my door. Okay. So this is purely to hire or rehire process. Like if you are hiring an employee into the system. So if employee belongs to a certain legal entity, I mean, let's consider this scenario. If you want to hire an employee, department default, you want to default department default. Okay. Yeah, default. Yeah. So always the hire scenario will be written on always the hire or rehire will be written on employee information model or employee model. When you click on information model and click on continue. Yeah. So if employee belongs to, while hiring, we always select the company of the employee. When we are going to select the, if employee, so event reason value is equals to hire. If you see, we get all. If employee is a new hire or a rehire, let's select if employee is a rehire and add or condition. Click here, select, and employee belongs to job information, company, value. So best run. So this should be changed to and. Okay. So what are we trying to writing here? Right here is, while hiring an employee, we will be taking that hire thing in the end, but just to show you. So whenever you want to add a new employee in the system, like the procedure, we will learn it later. I mean, after this class, why we will have this. So first we will give us the company. So if you see best run, we were able to see in the rule. If you see 1010, first while hiring 1010, and the event is new hire. Okay, new hire. So what are we trying to write is like if employee belongs to new hire, if a event reason is new hire and job information company value is equals to best run, then set uh, so if you see, middle name is not mandatory. So whenever we give these two fields, I mean, whenever we will make middle name as mandatory. Okay. Set uh, personal information. So in the personal information, middle name value to be equals to required personal information middle name required equals to true. Okay. Let's give this. Okay. So whenever we choose these both values, this will become middle name will become mandatory. Let's click on save. Okay. So we have created a rule here. So now we have to assign this rule to the in the personal information. So in order to assign this rule, if you see here, this rule is not assigned. Select icon for further details. If you select here, we did not assign this rule. Close. Let's go and assign this rule. Okay. In order to assign this rule, we will go to personal information of the employee, where we will see the personal information. I mean, personal information configuration of the employee.
Foundation data.
No. Manage business configuration. Okay. So in the manage business configuration, we have personal info. Okay. So we have selected the personal info. So here we will be seeing our middle name. See, here it is where configuration. So take action, make correction. Okay. Then just go employment model, or what we have taken, employee information model, right? Employee information model. So it is an on init rule. Whenever we select, I'll tell you all this what these are. Just for an example, how the so employee on init. So department default. Okay, we just gave the same name, right? Department default. That's okay. We gave this on init, and we are saving. Yeah, we have saved the rule. Now let's go and if first we will refresh. If you see, once we refresh, earlier it was a black mark. See, assign this rule. This rule was assigned in the personal information model with event type on in it under manage business configuration. Okay, now let's test this rule. Let's refresh, reload. Okay, let's, okay, yeah, let's select 1010 and select new hire. Weapon, reload. Mm. Okay. So I think there are many other rules where we might be facing the contradiction. So let's unassign this role. Okay, let's delete. So end of the like once we are done while hiring, we will create our own legal entity, and we will do this. Okay. So for now it is clear, right? How do you write a business rule? You are very clear with this business rule, right? So make correction. Okay. So here also, if you see, this is set the value. In order to set the value, we are going to do this. Raise a message. So when you create a raise a message, if you see, we can write any of this message and we can make it a warning, a info or an error. So what is the difference between info, warning and an error? Okay. So error is something it will not allow you to move forward. Like if you select if an employment type is equals to this, so you have to raise an error message. So we have any error message here. Let's see some examples. This is for workflow. Okay. This is for personal details. This is also for workflow. Okay. This is all visibility rules. We autofill. We want one error message. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, notification. Yeah, if you see, they have set a warning. Let's test this and I'll show you. Okay, for any of the employee, let's take some John. Let's first John, project manager. So what they have written is, so if marital status previous value is not equals to the current value and the marital status is not equals to none, your marital changes have changed. Next step. Okay, this is what they have done this. Okay, sorry, this is not required. Okay, let's change one employee's marital status. Let's see if that warning is triggered or not. Okay, let's go click on history. Personal data, click on edit, click today's date, apply. Okay, where is marital status? Birth name, nationality. Yeah, so here the marital status is single. Okay, now let's give it to married. So once it is, sorry, you've missed that, right? Okay, let me discard. Again, I'll perform. We have seen warning, but somehow I clicked it so fast, we missed it. Apply. Okay, so we are going to change marital status to married. Okay, your marital status has been changed. Next step, please upload the proof for the marital status using this. Please be sure to validate this. So these are all the warning messages they have configured in the system just to so. So if you see, This is what just we were testing one rule, but there are a lot of warning messages they have raised. This is our warning message which they have created in the system, and we have seen it. We are seeing it. Got it, guys? Your marital status has been changed. Next step. Okay. So this will allow us to move forward, but it will show a warning message. The things has been changing. Okay, that is how the warning is configured. So when we click on an warning, that is how when you click on error message, let's look for one error message in our system. Okay, click on done. At the personal info, if you can check some error message. I'm just showing you how does that warning error is configured. So this is an error. If you see employee job information country is equals to Germany. So employees. We cannot get any specific Germany employee right now. That is very tough task in this system, especially this demo system. We can extend some 15 to 20 minutes, right? And that's not a problem, right?
Yes, Ramya.
So tomorrow I'll show you. Night I'll figure this out. One. Okay, let's do this way. Cancel. Yeah. Okay. What was the rule we were seeing? Personal information. That was on marital status, right? Yeah. And marital status notification. Click on this. Let's change this rule. Okay. Let's click on make correction. Let's take info. Let's make it an info and click on save. Okay. Now let's see how the info comes. Okay. Now click on the cancel. Again, we'll perform the transaction. Okay. This has been saved, right? The rule has been saved. Now it is an info. Okay. Let's see how the info is coming in the system. Let's click on edit again. Let's take the transaction details today. Let's click on apply. Then we will be changing our marital status to married. Info. Understood the difference? This is a warning. This is an info. Okay. Now how that error looks, I'll show you that. Then again click action, make correction. Let's make it an error. Okay. So the point to be remember is like, even when the warning is shown, when the information is shown, you will be able to go and save the options here, whatever the changes you are able to do. So the basically what is warning, what is an info is like, info is like giving us some kind of info. If you are doing this, this will happen to your system. If you are changing this will happen to your system. Marital status is like, be careful, a kind of a warning, be careful, you are doing such kind of action that will create some kind of changes to our data. Okay. Such kind of warning it is given. Info is something just helping you to move forward with the info, what is happening, why you are doing this, some kind of information it is giving. Warning is something like, it is telling you you are performing some kind of transaction, be aware of it. And error is something, it should not allow you to move forward. Okay, so let's make it this an error and click on save. Okay, so in the both the cases, if you see in the warning and in the info, you are able to have a save option. So now let's go back to the personal data. Again, click on edit, check the transaction 20, apply. Now let's change the marital status to married. Did not. It has been changed, right? Hmm. But why? Let's look for some other rule. Error is something it should not allow you to move forward. Okay, person relationship. Do we have some rules? This is for workflow. Some validations we have. Click on save. Let's try this for an error. Let's go to employees dependence information. And what is the filter criteria? Anything, any global information, not country specific. Dependence, add. So add effective as of 20, apply. So need someone for this. Okay. Mm. But it should work, right? Why personal data is not working? Let's try again. Mm. So not a problem. Let's not waste our time. Okay. So you understood the difference, right? Like tomorrow I'll be showing the error message, how the error message is caused. Okay. Yeah. So then coming to the business rule scenarios, when we click on create new, we will go for the employment information. So usually we have already spoke hire or rehire process, trigger on in it, on in it. On in it is something like whenever you keep the field. I mean, if you see here for an employee, when we just go and apply, I mean, whenever we just clicked on it and we changed the value. Once we just changed the value, it immediately triggered. I mean, on it is something whenever we just change the value, it has got triggered on in it for this. So like for the validation, whenever we change some kind of information, it will trigger on initialization. When it is on onion, it does a initialization. Like it runs whenever the system initializes, the value is changed. If the value is based on the marital status, it will be changed. Okay. So then comes our next scenario, trigger on init rule for hire or rehire, which is on home page rehire, yeah. Generate employee central alerts. Okay, alerts is something like sharing an information like your contract is going to end in 90 days, your contract is going to end in 40 days, in 50 days, just to generate this. So here, if it can be based on the compensation information, your variable pay is about to come, such kind of, based on your any model, you can create such kind of these things. Okay. So this is how the generate center trigger event reason derivation. Event reason derivation is something like explains why job and comp information is changed. For example, if an employee event is promotion, then the salary is changed. It is based on the derivation. Like every time you don't have to go into the system and always give the employee this. If the compensation is changed, it is automatically a promotion. If employee location is changed, it is automatically a transfer. If a term employee is terminated, it from a derivation, it will choose as a what it is a termination. So we'll have a derivation rules control. So it is just that it up, like whenever employee job or compensation information is changed, like a promotion, transfer, salary change, hire, location change, it automatically determine the appropriate event changes. Like whenever it happens, such kind of actions happen. Okay. Yeah. So trigger event reason derivation. So system automatically choosing event reason derivation. So for each and everything, I'll give one example from the system and I'll show it tomorrow. Okay. So enforce rehire with new employment. Like whenever employee is terminated, again when we are rehiring an employee, I mean when we have terminated an employee and we want to rehire that employee. Okay. After termination, the termination details are in the system, and while rehiring, we again give the same details. While hiring, if you give the same details, once you give your Aadhaar card number or a PAN card number, system will recognize you with your part of that employee. So for each and employee there is a user id, right? In the system, personal id, user id has been created in the system. So what system will ask you, hire him as an like hire with a new employment or hire with the old employment. If old employment means your person id will be remain same, hire with a new employment means the new id will be created. If in from the system the new id will be created. So that is the reason they have given this. Trigger workflows. Workflows is clearly something like whenever some kind of change is happening, what kind of workflow to be triggered. We will configure few workflows in our system. So when what kind of action is happening, what kind of workflow should be triggered. So such kind of actions. Okay. So let's end this here. Tomorrow we will catch it from here. Okay.
Okay, Ramya.
Yeah. So for this things, what rule trigger things, the notes which I've shared you, I'm just sharing it with Mahesh. You can have a look. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Done. I have shared it with him. You can just take that notes from him and you can. So tomorrow same time we will meet. Okay.
Sure, Ramya.
Done. Thank you.